you go back and forth because there is that part where it's like, hey, you say stuff and this is the game. And in comedy, there is this game of one part of you wants to be like, I should be able to say whatever the fuck I want. But that's not how it works in real life or in a comedy club.
Right.
Like, it's not, if I showed up to you and I just, you seem like a guy that's not gonna get offended, but there's a point where you'd be like, yo, what the like, we weren't on that vibe and I just came in saying like real crazy shit.
Right.
So every room, every comedy club, every platform has a vibe. But what people don't like is when it's unfair. Like we were, me and some of your dudes were talking before where it's just like some of the rappers that's all of a sudden like, you don't even know what you did. It's just they disappear. It's when you don't know the rules and the rules seem to like only apply to certain things.
Right.
So I think that's what like the fight is against. I mean, the idea that if you go and you do like a corporate event and you show up, right? And then you show up and you're like, yelling slurs and women are fucking trash, and then people legitimately are offended where they're like, what the fuck was that? You can't be like, oh, snowflake. She was actually offended in that case.
If you go to a corporate event, is that just kind of implied, or did they make it explicit and say like, hey, like this isn't maybe the venue for you to say the most edgy thing
corporate
you can
gigs,
think of?
Yeah, the corporate gigs.
I brought JJ on a corporate gig.
Worst decision.
Yeah,
it
really?
was. It was disaster.
This guy, he walks rooms like you've never seen, but he kills very hard. I want to say.
But the dude who booked us, it was for truckers, was like
was a trucker factory.
waving his arms when I was on stage.
JJ comes in and he's doing a bit about this girl. He goes, this girl's got a fucking clit so big it's flying in the wind. But he's doing a big act out. The guy at the side who's running the event runs up to the side and he just goes, get him off stage. He goes, shut it down.
And he went on and he wasn't much better.
That's true. It wasn't much better.
It's the same shit.
Well, you kind of, some of those scenarios, you get into a position on stage where you're kind of like, what they want me to do, the audience will hate. So the only way for me to do good right now is to essentially piss off the people that booked me.
Right.
And then you go, which is it? Do I kind of just take the hit, have a very lukewarm set, people go, that guy wasn't that funny, but you get paid, and the guy goes, thanks for coming, and you never talk about this again? Or do you like, nah, I'm gonna do good.
Right.
But some people aren't like it, and I think that the real answer is don't take those gigs.
Right.
Yeah, I don't take those gigs.
It's just not worth it?
No, it's not worth it. But that's the difference between...
Yeah, just, you don't want to do that stuff. But, it's big money if you're starting out. It's someone... The truth is, someone gives you like, oh, come do $5,000 to do a thing, and you're starting out, and it's like...
Yeah.
And you're like, can you do 45 minutes clean? And you can't really, and you're like, yeah, I could probably try to do that. And you show up, and you do 10 minutes, and you're like... Anyway, so I'm having sex the other day.
Because as soon as you start to lose them, you know that saying something edgy is going to reel them back in, get them paying attention.
Yeah, exactly.
But okay.
But also too, like if they hate you, I personally think, you know what?
Better than them just not liking you.
Yeah. And you know what? If they hate me, man, I'm like, you know what? Go fuck yourself. I'm going to give you a real reason to fucking hate me now.
Right.
And then I'll just...
Well, how about the real me? Here we go.
Yeah. You thought you hated me? Well, I got news for you. That wasn't me.
No, but okay. There is a weird line, though, because like I'm somebody who I try not to really like... I try to make my decisions about what I'll say and what I don't say based on what I actually think is offensive and not based on just like how a random person that exists in my head is going to feel. I've been known to still say retard. I believe I said retard earlier in this podcast, or at least when
I just called them women.
Yeah. But okay, the other day I was around somebody, and this is somebody who pretty much I would say like affiliates themselves with like edgy alternative comedy, whatever. And he was saying the F word with the AGGOT, like hard, like aggressive.
Yeah, it made you feel strange.
And it really, like, even to me, I was just like, ugh, like, that just kind of makes the hair stand up on my neck a little. And I'm not going to say, like, I haven't said it in the last fucking year for sure. I've said it when I was angry or something, but just interjecting that into a normal room these days just really hits a little different. Of course. And I say that as somebody who grew up saying it every other fucking word.
But, like, there's a difference between being edgy and being, like, subversive. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you're saying things that you're not supposed to say, but they're kind of true.
Right.
And that's a good part of comedy. But there's a line where it's like, yeah, you know what you're not supposed to say that's true? That this girl's super fat. Like, do you know what I mean? So if you go up and you're like fat, you're like, sorry, I'm a truth teller. Like, there's obviously, so I like to think of it, right?
I'm a truth teller. Look how obese this person is.
Yeah,
Fucking
what?
fat
That is
pig.
true. And society does not want you to say that, but perhaps for good reason.
Yeah, but maybe there might be a place where you're kind of like a celebrity and everyone's saying they're hot and you're like, really? I gotta pretend. Then that's, you kind of are nuanced.
Do you
about
think
it.
that if a woman is obese and she goes to a comedy show that she's like, that she should consider being made fun of for her weight on the table as a potential joke?
So that's
I
to me
wouldn't.
what you were talking about before, where people want to say there's like punching up and punching down, but they
Yeah.
don't really understand how that works. What the truth is, it's the audience has a conscience that they think that is their line. Then you have a conscience that what you think's funny.
Right.
So ideally, you say stuff that you feel good about saying, where you go, I think that's funny, and I think that aligns with my sensibilities.